mantra of trust the process, which sounds like something that could apply to what you're trying to do here. How do you view what Arteta's done there, and kind of to what extent is it a sort of model that you can follow?
Yeah, I think the whole, the football club, Arsenal have done a really great job in understanding that, they were sort of probably heading in a direction that was showing them it wasn't going to be successful. And once Mikel came in, that they stuck, as you said, to the process, irrespective of short-term sort of gains that may have been made by going in a different direction. And I think Mikel's been outstanding and been really strong right from the start of, having a real vision for the football club, and the club's backed him. But I don't think that's unique. I think, Liverpool did the same with Jurgen. Most clubs that end up having a successful period do it on the back of having a real clear idea about what they're trying to create. The only problem is that, a lot of clubs kind of jump in shadows at the first sign of things maybe not progressing at the rate that they were hoping to, whereas, like I said, it's credit to Arsenal, credit to Mikel that they backed each other and they're reaping the rewards of it. But that's not a blueprint for us to follow. We've got our own blueprint, and that you don't have to follow anyone else's timescale. You don't have to follow anyone else's processes. What you've got to do is, like I said, have a clear idea about what you want, and then provided along the way you're seeing progress to that end, then try and stick to it.
And I think it's fair to say that, given the choice, Arsenal would always prefer a kind of more open game. We saw what they did to PSV on Wednesday night. I know you said you're going to stick to what you do, but could this be a game where we see sort of tactical tweaks or different personnel?
I'm not really bothered about what Arsenal want as a game. I'm more bothered about what we want as a game. And as I said before, it's about us challenging ourselves to be the football team we want to be, and the football team, the kind of progress we want to make is playing the football that we've started playing. That's as simple as that. So, what the opposition may want or may not want becomes kind of a moot point for us if we don't play our football. Like I said, there's always natural adjustments you make during a game because what the opposition do. But we've started playing this way, like I said, because it's how I think we're going to be successful, how I believe we'll be successful, not because I'm trying to, like I said, create something that's pleasing to the eye. If we're not going to win with it, I won't do it.
Great, thanks.
This is obviously one of the biggest derbies in the world in terms of people watching, not just in this country, around the world. The Old Firm is one of the most famous. I was just wondering, your experience of derbies over the years, what other memories come to mind, maybe from some of the derbies that we wouldn't know so much about?
Yeah, look, again, you understand, irrespective of kind of the magnitude on a global scale, or, whenever you're playing your next neighbourhood in whatever sport you're doing, there's always an edge to it, because, you know that until you meet again, that bragging rights sit in one part of the town, and that doesn't change anywhere in the world. All the great derbies, all the great sort of rivalries, sometimes they're individual rivalries, they're usually based on something significant, and I think there's an added sort of edge when it's geographical as well, when you're literally neighbours, that you kind of want to be sort of kings of your own neighbourhood. And I've experienced that, even in Australia, but happened in Japan, as you said, happened in Glasgow, and it's great. I love it. I love being part of it. You understand that it is only one result, but you also understand that it's more significant than that to the supporters. So you kind of factor that into it. But it's one way or another, you come out of it with a memory, that lasts with you forever. It's either a good one or a bad one. You kind of hope it's a good one.
Any vivid memories specifically, particularly with supporters over the years?
No, look, I think they're all, like I said, they're all sort of, the edge is always the same. Obviously, when we played Rangers, I think think it was in my first year, we only had 700 Celtic supporters in there, and we won, and that was unbelievable. Where 700 at the end of the game could silence thousands. So, but wherever I've sort of been, all those kind of experiences, like I said, and I've been on the other side of it too, where it's not so good. And like I said, you remember all of them. That's the thing. Either way, some other results, you may tend to forget, particularly if you're in the game as long as I am. But derbies, you always remember them, and if you try and forget them, somebody will remind you from either camp.
And the difference between you and Mikel in terms of your journey couldn't be more different, really. I mean, you had a few years at Man City working with Pep, and then coming to such a big club. Obviously, it's been a much longer journey to this club for yourself. I think we were talking to Gary Lineker about some of those times before we spoke to us about those issues. I just wonder if you could elaborate a bit more on that in terms of some of the things that maybe, without naming names, that people said to you that gave you the impression, like you said to Gary, that this might never happen.
Well, it's not. Yeah, and I don't want to sort of cast aspersions on people. I mean, it's just that they've never heard of me. So you're kind of looking at black faces, and and you kind of hope that there's a flicker of recognition there about something, But it's like they've just met somebody who's who they didn't realise was in the football world, let alone potentially a candidate for a club. So but that's okay. That's just my journey. I don't say that for people to kind of woe is me. It's like, mate, I love my journey. It's made me the man I am today, and I've had unbelievable experiences, and there's always different ways to get to the highest level. And I didn't think I would, but if I didn't, it wouldn't have diminished sort of my life or my career. I've still would have felt like I've achieved all I wanted to, because I've made an impact wherever I've been, and that's always kind of the only thing you can sort of control. But from that perspective, it's just part of my journey. Other people have different ones. As you said, Mikel, I spent a week at City when I first got the Yokohama job, because they were part of the group, and they were generous enough to sort of invite me in. And I didn't speak to him, but I observed training. You could see then that how passionate Mikel was about the game, and you could sense he was itching to get going and become a manager himself. And we've got a sort of common acquaintance in Tim Cahill, and Timmy was always speaking very highly of him, both as a player and as a person. And he's, like I said, he's had a different journey, but he's made the impact. So I guess that's the whole point of it. As I keep saying, there's no real defined way to get here, and as long as people keep an open mind, you might be able to find great people from all different types of sort of trajectories to get to this point.
Sachin?
Hi, Ange. Just want to ask about Richarlison. He went into the Sheffield United game, quite a difficult place. He'd obviously opened up about the issues he was having. He then had an incredible game, incredible impact in that game. And obviously, one game's not going to change all the issues he's going through. But have you noticed any difference with him this week? And has what happened on Saturday, the impact he had, helped in any way at all with his issues?
No, I mean, look, he's training well. He seems to be sort of at ease with himself. I think you're right. I mean, it does help when things, go well. But as I said after the game, that's the balance probably Richie's got to get in his life now, to understand that the more you can sort of try and keep a balance in the way you view your own life, the better he'll be able to overcome the issues he has. And if his football's going well, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be going well, because he's training well and he's a fantastic footballer, then hopefully that helps him in the other areas of his life that he needs to. And that's the same for all footballers, and hopefully that helped him. But I think the clubs, as I said, club's there to support him in the ways he needs to. I don't need to be across that, and all the lads have sort of been supportive as well, and he looks like he's in a good place. But as you said, that doesn't mean that his issues have gone away. Whatever those issues are, he'll need to find a way to tackle them, and hopefully football helps him in that process.
Just one thing just following up on the theme of the derby. I mean, they are emotional affairs, as you know, have been for so, especially the old firm. emotional around it for the players as well as the fans? I mean, will there be any adjustments, sort of, for instance, the last time you say to the players before they go out on Sunday? Are you preparing to just do even small things?
Yeah, you know, with those kind of things, I try not to sort of pre-plan them too much. It's more about reading the kind of room and sort of we've still got training tomorrow and seeing how they look at training, you know, if you know, seeing how their kind of build-up is to the game, and again, trying to get a feel for the room before I sort of speak to them about the final things and kind of frame my message. I always feel it's better rather than me going in thinking, oh, you know, I've got to really be strong in this area and maybe it's not needed. You know, they're already sort of focused in the right way. So again, I'll leave that to sort of when we get closer to the game. But ultimately, like I said, whatever I say and whatever kind of way we prepare them, there's nothing like the experience itself. That's the greatest teacher you have, and for us, you know, that'll be where we'll get the most out of just going out there, experiencing it, and seeing how much we can show of ourselves in such a big game.
Okay, we've only got a couple of minutes, so if we could just rattle through Paul, Tom, and George, please.
Do you think you and Mikel are at all similar? You seem to have quite similar sporting philosophies. You like to play attacking football. And did you keep in touch with him after that meeting? Would you say you're close at all? Or?
No, and it wasn't a meeting. I didn't speak to anyone, mate. I kind of just sat and observed, and no, we're not close. And yeah, I mean, you know, the football world's a funny one, you know, because I think there's an assumption that we got all this spare time to hang around with one another and talk to opposition coaches, and it's not what exists. But and you know, in terms of similarities. You know, I'm 58, he's whatever, I've had 26 years, he's 5 years into it. You know, he's managed in one country, I've managed in a few. I'm not sure, he's got a great head of hair. He's a lot fitter than I am. I don't know, mate. There's not many threads there I can sort of join between us. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say opposites. We're people, mate. We're all different, you know. And even the way his team plays is, you know, yes, he does have an attacking philosophy, but it's different from mine, and that's the beauty of the game. You know, that's what you love about it. That even, you know, teams and people you kind of think have a similar philosophy. There's always those tweaks, and it's why you can't copy. You know, it's why I keep saying when people say, well, you know, it's like, you know, if you're an artist and you see a Picasso, yeah, you can copy it, but it's not going to be a Picasso, is it? It's the same with football. You can try and see that somebody else does something really well and but you don't bring your own personality into it. And, you know, as I said, I've got a great admiration for the way he's gone about things and the way he's stuck to his beliefs. I think it's a credit to him. I've been working, mate. No, not many games I've gone as a supporter, to be fair. Most of my experiences have been being involved. I've only been to one World Cup, and that was the one I was involved in. I've only been to like 6 Champions League games, are the ones I was involved in. That's kind of been my life. I haven't had a lot of time to just go and support or go and watch events.
And how you handle these games personally? Are you sort of a different person around the house than the hours before? Or do you take longer to recover emotionally afterwards?
No, it's pretty consistent, mate. I'm miserable either side of it, and my wife and family are used to that. No, look, no different, because you know, I know what's coming, and you kind of look forward to that. You know, when we walk out there, you know, kick-off time and the roar goes up, you're right in the middle of it, and you're looking forward to it, and you want to do the best you can do. I want to try and support the team and everyone as the best way I possibly can in my role, and then, you know, at the end of it, you deal with what's left, and usually you're pretty exhausted by it, and what you do know is that irrespective of the outcome, in probably less than 24 hours, you've got to dust yourself off, walk back in here with a clear head, and get ready to tackle the next task.
You said before how important it is here to sort of buy into your approach and your methods. I mean, is this kind of against Arsenal,
Yeah, but by not shying away from that challenge, I guess, and not fearing, the outcome if things don't go well. Ultimately, that's always your measure, and it's my history, and people sort of use it almost as a kind of barometer against me that when I went into Champions League games with Celtic or I went into World Cup games with Australia that I should have changed my approach, and we got some pretty decent lessons along the way. But I just think that's the only way you can measure yourself. How do you know? If you ever want to be that kind of team, is I guess the question. If you want to be a team that challenges, well, you have to play that way, irrespective of the opponent. So there's no point not using a game like Sunday as a measure to see where you're at. If you shy away from it and we don't play our football and we manage to get a draw and we survive the experience, what have we really learnt apart from the fact that we've survived 90 minutes of football? Nothing. So and that'll be and the players I think already know that's what be my message to them. We're going to go out there and play our football and measure ourselves, and if we're short, we're short. We need to make that up, and if we match them, well, it's great, isn't it? Because then we know we've still got a long way to go, but we've already established ourselves that in the biggest of the occasions we're prepared to play our football.
George, final one, please.
Been a lot of talk around, obviously, you have a young team and this being their first experience of a North London derby. How important is it that sort of leadership group of Sonny, Romero, Maddison, they sort of lead from the front and I guess show like sort of calm heads in what will obviously be a hostile environment?
Yeah, it is. It's important. But I guess even for them, it's their first time as leaders in something like this, and when you're not a leader, it can not that you would, but it's easy to just sort of worry about your own performance, but now they've got to do that. So it's a great test for them as well, and their leadership for sure. But again, this is the experiences I want these guys to have. We need to have as a group to help us grow. It's the only way you grow. You don't grow by sort of, literally being in the shade. You got to stick your head up and see the sun and allow yourself to grow, even though you may mean at times that that experience isn't a great one. You still can grow from that. So it's a challenge for all I guess the group and for us. But irrespective, it won't stop our kind of real intent to become this kind of football team, whatever the outcome. Obviously positive means, okay, you continue down there, but even positive can sometimes derail you because you think you're further ahead than what you are, and we're not. After Sunday, we'll be 6 games into a pretty significant rebuild.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.